All right.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. We've got a really great guest today. He's a familiar face in the Indian design community, and he also has an internationally acclaimed design academy kind of identity. He's held senior level positions across design institutes in India, namely NID, National Institute of Design, as a professor and former head of Department of Communication Design. Let's welcome Paresh Choudhury. Welcome, Paresh.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction.
Thank you for joining us. Are you ready for 20 questions?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Number one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What is it that you do?
Yeah, so basically, as you explained in my introduction, so I'm a design academician. Currently, I'm focusing on, design academician as an educator to educate people, children, students, corporate houses, corporate people, anything, and in any level, across all, segments of people. I am trying to like spread and educate, promote design. So I felt that design is a very useful tool to make us better, to have better world and everything, better product, better service. Everything should appear better, with the intervention of design. But also, if I can say a little about my background, so I started my journey as a painter, as an artist. So successfully, I started that career. I graduated in painting, fine arts from Odisha, and then I moved into advertising world, graphic design world. I worked in advertising as art director and creative director, who used to work for the TV commercial, television advertisement. And then after, many years, so I thought, it's enough and enough working in industry. Let's move to academic environment to educate, to train people, to transfer my knowledge and information to the young generation. So that's what I started. I got into teaching and education. And now also I'm focusing on to spread, to promote design thinking in grassroots level in remote places like my state, especially Odisha and Bhubaneswar. So I set up this Odisha Design Council. ODC is very popularly known as ODC, and also we had concluded Odisha Design Week to promote design in this part of the world. So that's all about about me. What do I do currently? Yeah.
Paresh and I met at a conference called UX India in Bangalore, where we were both on a roundtable panel discussion. But I picked out Paresh because he had somebody photographing him for his social media, and I thought that was so cool.
Okay.
Number two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
Yeah, so I feel like normally I use everywhere in professional practice and also academic practice. I normally use my personal experience, whatever I kind of incorporate ideas. So that is totally original. I normally pick from my experience, my own experience. So that always new to new generation. In audience, wherever I talk about, I make the presentation, research papers, or maybe taking classes, conducting workshops, or doing some projects, industry, commercial projects. So I always use my personal experience because I travel a lot, I explore a lot in very beautiful things, and also try to analyze in terms of problem solving. aspects. So that helps. So always it's it come up with the successful notes always. So that's, I think, a key piece of knowledge, different from others, I believe. Back to
Yeah,
Thomas.
I think that's right. I mean, I think we can't say enough good things about the kind of grassroots work you've been doing with Odisha and kind of the local climate there was a real strong kind of powerful community building effort that you did there that started to reach kind of everywhere, I think, which was really fantastic. Great. Okay. So number 3, of all of the things you could be doing, why do you do what you do?
Yeah, because I realize actually there is a huge need, because design, as we know, is not a textbook kind of study or courses. It is totally, yeah, of course there are some theories like Gestalt laws, design principles. So but if you incorporate your own experience in terms of design teaching or design practice, it's always like whether it's client, whether it's students, so it always appear new to them. So that's what I feel, and it also I successfully it is done actually. So then I keep doing all this way. So that is, I think, I answered your question. Am I right, Thomas?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 4, what does your future look like?
Yeah, it's a very tricky questions. I mean, but very key question. Always like I want to be very popular and famous in my areas, successful. So that is, I think, I feel like in my future people will recognize me, my efforts, my talents, and so that's what I visualize. I should be at the top in my areas.
I think it'll happen. I think it's happening already. I mean, I remember, we had known each other for a while, and at one point you posted some photos of your new space. It must have been in Odisha, and the kind of interiors of this new studio space you were working in, and I just thought, I've got to visit that space. I have to see that space. It looks so cool,
Yeah, let me add on. Sorry for interruption, Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are right actually. So it's like in process, like maybe in very soon. So I will establish one design school in Odisha, Bhubaneswar, state capital. So I'm in the process, So I just recalled, yeah. So I'm just adding that point. Yeah, you carry on, Thomas. Yeah.
Fantastic. No, but it's true. Like you really do make things happen. I mean, your future is bright. Number 5, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Yeah. So location, because I travel, across world, and then the location in my state where I currently am living, it is very rich in culture and heritage, dance, music, cuisines and costumes, architecture. But in terms of modern design, I feel like still we are many years behind with the rest of the world. So and there's a huge demand in terms of to train, educate, especially new generation, so they can get into innovation process and help the economy grow in the state. So that is why I opted this place. This location is kind of perfect. The huge scope and huge opportunities to explore the design thinking and innovation skills.
I'll echo that. I mean, in my visits to India, I've seen huge opportunity for design, but also within the students, I've seen this really cosmopolitan, futuristic aesthetic that is very globally oriented, and and really has the potential to shape the scenery there. I mean, to really kind of advance things. And so when I teach in India and see the students there, I get so excited about what they're going to do and what they can do, and them having the chance to do it there, the possibilities there. It's really special.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Number 6, if you had to start from the beginning, what advice would you give your former younger self?
Yeah, so what I'm doing currently, I'm happy and I'm on the right track, I believe. But if there is an option you are giving me, if there is a chance, I would have opted I should have started design, earlier, more like a much earlier when I started exactly. So maybe I would have opted the product design, industrial design, though like this, my strength is visual, visual communication, but I wanted to explore, I would have explored a lot in terms of product design and architecture. Especially architecture, actually, I'm big, big fan of architecture field. But currently also I'm doing some architectural project like self-initiative project I do myself. So maybe very soon I will reveal those, creations to the rest of the world. So yeah, so that's it for this question. Yeah.
You remind me of some advice that was given to me when I was a design student, 20 years ago.
Okay.
A family friend of ours told me that there are 3 levels to design. At the bottom is communication design, which is what I ended up studying. And if you study communication design, you can only be a graphic designer. And then the next level is industrial design, like product design. And if you become an industrial designer, you can do industrial design or you can do graphic design. And finally, at the top level is architecture. And if you become an architect, you can do architecture or industrial design or graphic design. And I came to realize that that's probably true.
Yeah.
Number 7, what's a day in your life like?
It's normally like it depends where am I living currently and what kind of activities I'm doing. So currently, actually, I start my day with coffee, a cup of black coffee. Not exactly 1 cup; it's like 2 cup. While I'm having, maybe I spent almost 2 hours to finish this 2 cup, and that 2 cup and that moment is very important for the day, because that time I visualize the entire day, what I'm going to do, whom I'm going to meet, what I'm going to eat, entire thing till evening. So then also, I also kept some time, in terms of to for my fitness. So I normally go to any maybe some exercise, from workout, to going to gym or maybe something. And maybe after late night or something, after work, something relaxation time, I keep watching some movies or maybe some music videos and all. So, and in between all those, so I normally focus on my work. So all little detailing and all. So whoever I'm working with, I always motivate them to come up with the best of best. So always try to take them, help them, my teammates, my students, my co-workers, to take them to the next level. So I think that's about my day. Did I answer properly for this question?
Well, we started it the same way. I mean, I think I just have 1 cup, but it's very similar.
It's like, I think it's common for all creative people, especially design. Yeah.
Okay, next one. Lifelong learning is a popular topic these days. How do you stay up to date?
Yes, so it's a very important questions. So always I want to be, kind of updated. So what's going on? Always I feel like young, like 20 years young or something like that. If like suppose I'm going to start, my career. So always I feel fresh in terms of learning. Always I'm open to all new ideas, even if old ideas. Always listen to everybody, and I travel a lot because I spent a whole lot efforts and time and money to travel to meet new people, new kind of locations, and try to analyze their product, service, location, environment, and interacting people to understand, to know, to learn many things, many new things in terms of culture, in terms of food, in terms of their creativity, in terms of their art and design, anything. So I always, that's why I think my creation, whatever I do, it appears, it's not like just like my own satisfaction. It appears to my audience as new and very, contemporary, kind of, novel type of works, avant-garde kind of works.
I've
Yeah.
been on the international conference circuit speaking for a while now, and at one point I had a chance to go to Pratt in Brooklyn to speak there, and I told Paresh about it, and he said I'm going to be there too, which I thought was so cool. And that was during pandemic, and I got scared to make that trip, but Paresh made that trip, and that was a real big defining moment. I think that was a really important one. I kind of do wish I made that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a testament to your commitment to learning in the way that you say that you are. Number 9, what tools do you use? Are you more digital? Or are you more pen and paper?
Yeah, actually, I belong to, when I started my career, the entire span of, let's say, 30 years. So it's like transition period for the world, for the creative world, where people are moving from tradition to modern, tradition to digital world, So I am like, I'm good in both, I guess. I always adapt myself, in terms of learning new softwares, adapting the devices, let's say, iMac, when iMac got introduced to the rest of the world. So I'm the one of the people who bought it, and it was very expensive, that time. And as per tools, like software are concerned, so I think Adobe softwares, especially Adobe Illustrator, is my favorite tool. And also this currently, for the user experience, UI UX, I'm using this Adobe XD.
Yeah.
So it's very, this two actually my favorite, other than this other tools like making presentations and all. So that keynotes, is like inbuilt tools from Apple. So I'm a big fan of Apple products and all iPad, my computer, laptop, mobile phones, everything. I've been using Apple, products and all. So I think, but then sometimes this digital world is the okay when you try to finish the things, from the execution part and all. It's very necessary, and quickly you can finish, and it will come up with a presentable way to present to client, or maybe to showcase to any kind of audience quickly. But initial ideation part, let's say doodling and all kind of maybe fabrication, some prototype, rough type of prototype, initial prototypes. So we need to do something hands-on exercise, kind of explore something. So I think that is also very necessary. We should not, like, that's my advice to the next generation, that we should not jump into digital immediately. So maybe you should have, kind of maybe like a 80% digital, 20% maybe you can devote towards the traditional methodologies. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Here in Vancouver, at least, I feel like XD and Figma are the big ones for prototyping.
Yes.
And yeah, I think the Apple software tends to be good for the decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this 80-20 kind of breakdown. That sounds about right.
Even like this, sorry for interruption, Thomas, let me add on. Even like during this pandemic period, so we got into, digital world, digital tools, especially this, the mind mapping and all, like a card sorting and information architecture, planning all. We normally started using this Miro. Am I
Mm.
right? It's also
Mhm.
very useful, software, so that, entire team can work together and share the ideas and, kind of creative thinking. So I think that's also one of my favorite tools, nowadays. Instead of, they have all whiteboards, they have all cards, so we can also kind of scratch the initial mind maps. I mean, mood boards, everything can be possible on the same platform and together also. So anybody, the entire team can contribute. So it's a very useful software, without moving physically from here to there. So everybody can sit on their table and work on it. So I think it's a very good tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big shift that happened in design process, is that like when I started out, it was one designer working on something by themselves, but now we're very collaborative. And I feel like it's always multiple people kind of as a team.
Yeah.
Number 10, how do you deal with work-life balance?
Yeah. So that's a very difficult mm, kind of difficult aspect of life, because you have to work is actually our especially all creative people, designers. So work is also part of life. So our life is work. So it's very much connected. The personal life, is very much connected with the work. Whether it is satisfaction, you will like a feel good kind of thing, achievement, or maybe happiness, even financially and also mentally, psychologically, everything is connected to work. So if you work more or better work, so you will have a better life. So that's like a kind of integrated each other. But life in terms of family and all, so maybe sometimes I neglected my family, my personal life. Sometimes, a lot of commitments are there, clients, we know, so they cannot wait what's happening in your personal level. They don't care about, suppose I have a birthday or maybe something, in my family. So, I have to sacrifice, I have to change my birthday schedule, party or something, but we have to focus on this work front. So that way, but I try to balance throughout my career, but more of like my primary focus is always on work, and secondary maybe life is important, personal life is important, but I kept it very, little secondary, but very close to this thing. I sometimes also, if there's a need, so I normally prefer to take a break, long break from work, maybe sabbatical, or maybe take, I maybe sometimes I quit job, if something whole lot workload or something, and it's also started affecting my personal life. So I quit that job or something and focus on this life front, sometime, some years or some months, so then I got bored or maybe satisfied, and I made my family members, whoever with me, if they are happy, so then I can join somewhere else, I can accept any kind of projects or work. So that way I try to balance, I think, both work and life, holidays and also as a matter, like, good food or something, good meal. Also, it gives kind of it connects both work and life with a great pleasure. So you can say, so that way I keep balancing both the things.
since we set up the studio for the podcast, my life has become very podcast work oriented. I'll end the day with some Netflix, and that kind of covers the life portion for me, at least.
Yeah. I can understand. Yeah.
But yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I'm a work guy for sure. Okay, we're halfway there. Number 11. If you weren't doing what you do now, what would you be doing?
Yeah. Again, maybe I would have, I would be doing like, let's say, farming. I think farming was also one of my passion, because I came from village, so I've seen, but then nowadays everybody's moving towards urban cities and all. So maybe I would have done farming, or maybe if something professionally, some little professional way, very maybe little educated way, maybe I would have been doing this architecture, as I had mentioned earlier. So yeah.
You must be doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, because everything seems to align for you. It seems good to me. Number 12, what would you not like to do?
Okay. I think like this, I don't like doing like accounting, like, financial matters. So I'm a little bit poor and it's boring to me, accounting, and also religious. Though I believe in God, and I am a spiritual person also some extent, but I'm not a religious, hardcore religious person, like, going to temples or maybe churches, maybe worshiping, praying, not like I'm not regular, that kind of, I don't have that kind of activities. I believe, but I cannot do. That thing, I think I don't, like to doing those two things. Yeah.
One thing I learned about communication design early on is that there is a financial component. There is a money element that is integral to design. It's part of design.
Yes.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Exactly, because it happened to all creative people. Though
Yeah.
I had studied like a business administration, as a short kind of diploma course, just to enhance my management skills and this financial handling, finance, accounting part and all. But remember, like, if I can tell you that's a subject, the financial, something financial accounting and finance, something, but that paper, it was so boring. So I was very, poor in that paper, but I managed to complete it. And also then, as you said, as part of design management, so we have to also, kind of give an estimate to client, in the entirely financial aspect. Though it is boring, we have to do. We don't enjoy. Am I right, Thomas?
I mean, I just say, give me a third up front, or if it's a small project, give me half up front. That's all I know. Number 14, what's your least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Okay, I think you.
Oh, I missed one. What's your favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Yeah, actually, that British sentence, that caption, keep calm and carry on.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I believe in that, actually, because every time, whether you are in middle of a stress or some kind of thing, so you have to keep calm first and then carry on, move on. I think that is a very strong, very powerful sentence, to motivate, to, put you back on the track. So I believe in that.
Yeah, it's this kind of change element, isn't it? Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay, least favorite word, quote, or sentence.
So I personally, I created this sentence. So a lot of people I found, so they cannot say no, because they read a lot of, especially in my state, actually, I just observed people, they cannot say no. They always say yes, and they cannot, commit it. They're not in position to do it. And then that's why I created this sentence to everybody: never say yes, which you cannot do. So it's like a false commitment. So don't give a false commitment to anyone. If you can, if you can do, so just be frank. Frankly, you can say, sorry, I cannot do it. So you have to have that courage to say no. You have to learn to say no. So that is my, I think, least favorite words. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. I mean, here there's this meme that goes around that says that you should just say yes and learn later, and they call it imposter syndrome. But this sounds like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Number 15. If you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what would it be?
I think I would choose two words, either like maybe both are same, almost close to, similar to each other. One is honest. So I'm really honest. I born honest. I always, naturally I'm really honesty person. And also I believe in perfectionist. So I'm very perfectionist, whether it's work or anything. If I'm working a design, working on a project, whether I'm making a meal, I'm cooking, everything should be perfect. I always, I prefer to go into detailing. So that's the perfect way to, I think, to describe myself. I think perfectionist is the right word for me.
Yeah. Some people say being finished is better than being perfect, but I'm also a perfectionist. I like things to be the way they're supposed to be. What keeps you up at night?
Thinking about tomorrow. So
Yeah.
always, yeah. So that's what sometimes, like, if something pressure or something, I have a client meeting or something. So I kept getting up, in middle of the night or something, thinking. Then I, normally take a glass of water and try to sleep again. So I think thinking about tomorrow is always banging in my head, middle of the night. Yeah.
I think I'm becoming an old designer because when I go to sleep, then I dream about problem solving and solving the problems. And then I wake up and I have these new solutions. It's very fulfilling. It works very well, actually.
True.
17, what's a dream you're chasing?
Yeah, so it's a very big question for me. So, simply, if I want to answer, so what is a dream you are chasing? So I can say, to find my dream girl.
Nice. That's a good one.
Because always I am a single, though I had married and spent a few years as a married couple, but then didn't work out or something. And I'm like, kind of, no, there is nobody there, in terms of woman power, girl power, to support, to keep you always, peaceful mind, and also motivate you. So always you need a woman next to you. So there is a proverb, like, every successful man, there is a woman behind. So that's why. So I think I'm not found my dream girl. So it's like always it's a dream to find my dream girl. Sorry, maybe it's not relevant to for this conversation, but that's the fact.
I think it's good. I mean, no one is an island. That's the other one, right? 18, final stretch. What inspires you?
My dream girl. And so it's like a dream. It's a dream, but always inspired me. I always visualize somebody there to, whom I can show, whom I can share. So, so whether my success or something, so always it inspired me, indirectly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited about 19 because, Paresh, I'm excited for your response. Any advice you'd like to share with our audience? Or
yeah. So never lose your heart. Always give 100%, because I believe in 100%, because less than 100% is like a mediocre. So design, actually, mediocre designers, there is no space, to perform. So always give 100% or beyond 100%. Never like give up before that. Never lose your heart.
Perfect. Number 20, everyone's favorite. How can our listeners keep tabs on you? How can we follow you? We want to know what you're doing. How do we know? How do we find out?
Yeah. So just like a Paresh Choudhury, and Choudhury Paresh. So maybe it's very popular. I think in that way, I'm popular in design community, especially in India and some extent abroad. So they can tag, they can look for by typing Paresh Choudhury, Choudhury Paresh. So especially in social media as Instagram and LinkedIn, and they can, or maybe, yeah. So maybe in Twitter, so they can easily they can find me. Have I answered your question?
Absolutely. I think that's great. Well, thank you so much, Paresh. I mean, our paths seem to cross, with UX India and Bangalore and with Pratt through the conference circuit. It's been so great to connect.
Some extent, I'm sorry. Some extent, you are also part of Odisha Design Council with me to you supported. You are part of one workshop called Design Thinking. So during this pandemic, online design thinking, many students participated. So you also supported, guided by giving your final inputs. So that was really amazing. So we are very much connected. Yeah. So now you can carry on with your
Absolutely.
conclusion.
I mean, with your Odisha efforts, which have been so magical and so powerful, I'm glad to continue to be there for that, and especially just to see what you end up doing. I mean, you keep announcing these exciting milestones in your life, and I think it will kind of continue and continue. So what a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. Thank you, Paresh.
Thank you, Thomas, for inviting me, being part of this platform with all great designers, especially David Carson. So I'm really, it is a big honor for me. So thank you, Thomas, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Paresh.